Hey guys, I hope you're having a great week. In the exercise of the week video for this week, I want to cover what's called ankle CARs. CARs stands for controlled articular rotations. So we need to make sure we have enough range of motion at the ankle. Ankle range of motion is something that's so easily and often overlooked. We look at the quad, the hamstring, the hip, the rotators, right? Getting into those common stretches, but we don't realize that the ankle needs the most, right? Ankle and big toe, the most range of motion based on what the joint can move through for running. So we want to make sure we don't neglect that area. One thing I found over the years, right, and if we look at and what we need to run, we want ankle dorsiflexion, so we then can roll and push off and propel the body. Traditional calf stretching does help get us in deeper into that position, but to some degree we want to move through this multi-directional range of motion at the ankle, because what that does is actually open up the joint capsule. Joint capsule are these ligaments, all the tissues that surround to stabilize the joint, right, the passive structures. But if we are always only working on calf stretching that way, or we're pointing to toes that way, we're not getting better movement between these lower leg bones to let that ankle move the way it should. So controlled articular rotations is an easy way to get that multi-directional range of motion, and it's going to be pretty eye-opening for some of you, right? As you move into some positions, you'll be like, man, it's really not going that far in that position, or I'm getting a crampy sensation because my muscles don't know how to control me in that range of motion. This is something that's especially important for trail runners, right? Trail runners, you're doing any distance, right? But the longer you're out there on the trail, the more you're using these lower leg muscles and really demanding a lot throughout the foot, the ankle, and the lower leg to stabilize you and to control you on different surfaces, different inclines, different slopes, rocks, roots, and what have you. So just to show you what the ankle CARs looks like, if I'm sitting, I like to do this sitting because a little tighter in the hip, so it's more comfortable to get into this position. I'm gonna support my leg. I don't want my hip or my knee moving, so I'm actually just gonna come right underneath. I'm gonna rest on that position. I'm gonna put my hand just below my knee, right? Just below the joint. Because as I move the ankle, I don't also want everything else upstream to move, so I can hold and fix myself in that position, appreciate as anything else moving, and try to isolate that ankle joint. So from here, we think about the different motions at the ankle. We have plantar flexion, we have dorsiflexion, we have eversion, and we have inversion. We're gonna move through all of those range of motions in this kind of multi-directional movement. So slow and mindful as you do this. We're trying to really push the range of motion. We're not just comfortably going through the range of motion. We're pushing that extreme range of motion and really trying to push ourselves into that. So just to show you an example, we'll do about 2 repetitions per side. Plantar flexion, eversion, eversion, dorsiflexion, inversion, inversion with plantar flexion, and back to the start. Okay, reversing. But at all times, I'm feeling my knee, I'm feeling my hip, making sure I'm not cheating. I got a little rotation there. From here, as I went out to the side, I want to limit that and just move the ankle. So I'm trying to really monitor that. Am I cheating in any way? You'll feel some stretching, you'll feel some burning, you could feel some crampiness at the muscles of the lower leg and foot possibly. But what you'll notice, right, we do a lot of exercises, calf strengthening. A lot of people strengthening the anterior tibialis and this muscle in the front of the shin to help prevent shin splints, right? This is a good drill that helps strengthen that ankle, explore and improve its full multi-directional range of motion in a very slow and controlled manner. And I'm burning right now. Really trying to push that end range of motion. These muscles are struggling. I can feel some clicks. I can feel a couple pops as I go through certain ranges. I feel some stretching of muscles and ligaments as I go through. It's really allowing me to explore that full range of motion of the ankle. So what I would do with this, I would do this as probably a warm-up exercise in some way, either before I run, before I do strength train, and before I get out on the trails, right? Going through maybe 3 to 5 repetitions on each side. You can do this standing, right? If you're at the trail, I can go here standing. I can support the leg, hold onto a tree. I can go through that. I can do that sitting on the ground. I can do this any way. It doesn't matter, but I want to make sure that I'm isolating the ankle. I'm not cheating by using anything else at the knee or the hip, and I'm able to move through that full range of motion. Some of these might be limited for you, right? As you get into this, you might notice, man, I can't really point my toes down, or not much motion as I go into inversion or eversion. Whatever you notice in terms of lack of range of motion, those are the positions you really want to slow down and see if you can emphasize. So if I have trouble getting into plantar flexion, I want to really work on slowing, getting into, you see my toes trying to assist here, get into plantar flexion, slow it down through that range, because I'm pretty good in the other ranges. And then as I come back around, I'm really slowing, trying to push myself deeper into that range, right? We want to make sure we have good range of motion throughout all of those, so emphasizing the ones which are lacking can be helpful. Like I said, again, 3 to 5 repetitions, going multiple directions. Limit range of motion at the knee, limit range of motion at the hip, and ankle cars can be a great exercise for you to work on improving ankle range of motion, improving strength and control of that range of motion, right? We don't want just more range of motion to have more range of motion. We want, if we need more range of motion, we want to actively be able to control that range of motion so it's actually useful for us. That's the difference between static stretching and some of these drills, right? We're just holding a calf stretch. Okay, I have more flexibility. I go on my day. I'm not teaching myself how to actually control and use the ankle in the tissues in that position. So being able to have more range of motion if you need it, control your range of motion, that's what's going to carry over to run, to walk, to play with your kids, to really function at your best. So I hope you enjoyed the exercise of the week this week, ankle cars. Try this out, super simple that you can do right now. 3 to 5 repetitions per side. Comment below, let me know how it goes. Any other questions, feedback, anything from me, feel free to reach out directly. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks again.